you about to start NP school and you're wondering what you can do in these next few months before your program actually starts to help you be better prepared for Nurse Practitioner School? If so, stick around. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the things that I wish I had done prior to going to NP school and things I think will help you be truly successful in your first semester of your NP program. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Liz. I just graduated from my family nurse practitioner program. I'm a pediatric nurse and a new mom. And I make 2 to 3 videos a week on my career and educational journey. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe down below and hit that little bell so you can get notified of all my new videos. I'd love to have you. Okay, so we're gonna break it down into 3 sections that are going to help you prepare for NP school. The first is your mental and physical preparation for the whole process. The second is your educational preparation. And the third is organization. So let's get started. Okay, so mental preparation and kind of physical preparation, but mostly mental. This is huge. So the very first thing you're gonna wanna kind of do is sit down with your friends and family and kind of lay out what the next couple of years of your life are gonna look like. Spend time with your friends and family. Enjoy them. You're gonna be a little bit stressed out in the next couple of years. They're gonna be stressed out because you're stressed out. So just spend time enjoying each other and setting a really good firm foundation for the years to come. I know I wish I had spent more time just hanging out with my family and Joe and just being present, not on my phone all the time. And I wish I had done that more to just kind of be with them. Next couple of years, you're not gonna be able to just be present like you are able to at this point. And while you're hanging out with your friends and family, it's a really good time to kind of nail down some excellent communication strategies because you are going to need to be able to communicate with your friends and family, especially if you're living with someone, if you have a family, you're gonna need to learn to communicate very well throughout this program. Because if you don't, there's gonna start to become frustration, like why aren't you doing this? Why are you doing this instead of that? So communication is key. Figure out your communication strategies and you can start doing that today. Go on vacation or a staycation. Just kind of have a week or 2 that you dedicate to you. Do whatever you want, even if that's just laying in your bed, painting your nails, watching Netflix, playing, I don't know, basketball, going on bike rides, whatever you want to do, just do it. Have a week or 2 where you dedicate to yourself, relaxing and pampering yourself before you enter this process. Next, I would start getting into a routine. So this kind of sounds counterintuitive because you're like, oh, this is my last time to have, just time before I'm on this crazy schedule in NP school. But I think it would be really helpful if you start getting into a routine early. Start waking up at a decent hour. Start going to bed reasonably. You're gonna train your body to kind of be getting into that because in NP school, you're gonna have to wake up for clinical, you're gonna have to get up for class and be on more of a schedule. I know before I was in school, I would sleep till 10, 11, whatever. And then I went into school and I had to wake up and be a functioning human and I went cold turkey and it didn't go very well. My brain was like, I'm not there with you yet. So start getting going to bed, not at 2 a.m., maybe midnight, waking up before 10 a.m., something like that. And if you already have a great sleep and wake cycle, you rock it life. I was not one of those people. Also, start maybe thinking about exercise and getting that into a routine. Exercise is going to be a huge stress relief mood booster during this whole process. Before I got pregnant, I was really good about using exercise as a stress relief and it was great. I have definitely noticed my mood going since I've kind of stopped that after having a baby and I need to get back on that. So start your routine now. The more you're used to exercising, the more you're going to be able to incorporate it into your life when you're in your program and it'll really help your mood and focus and just your overall well-being. Do things that you love. When you're in NP school, you're going to have less free time. It's obviously you're going and gaining this great education, but there are drawbacks you have a lot less free time. So just go and do the things you love while you have the freedom to do it. Like I said earlier, whatever makes you happy, go do it. And the final one in this mental, physical preparation, learn how to cook. Now a lot of you probably know how to cook. I hate cooking. I'm getting better, more accepting of it, but that's just not my jam. But find some recipes that are easy and you can just whip together, make a little notebook binder of them so that when you're tired, you can just flip through it and be okay, spaghetti and meatballs, that's what we're having for dinner. And just kind of make a little compilation notebook of easy, quick dinners. That way you don't have to think about that and be hunting on Pinterest for your meals during school, because then you'll just go on Pinterest and you're gonna go down a rabbit hole and you're never gonna get anything done, and you're just gonna have pinned like 50 recipes for how to make brownies in the microwave, and that's not very helpful. And we're gonna talk more on why the recipe thing is important later. But for now, let's move on to your academic preparation. And really, with this one, I do not recommend that you hit the books in the time before you start NP school. There are going to be years ahead of you where you are studying, you're reading, you're doing all of that. I don't recommend doing that. Just give yourself a little bit of a break. I do, however, recommend some passive learning. So I'm gonna put a poll up here and let me know if you listen to podcasts, because these things have been a lifesaver. I discovered them halfway through NP school, and honestly, they changed my educational experience. I kind of thought they were like a hippy-dippy weird thing that like old people did in the beginning of school. Now I'm totally hooked on them. So check out some podcasts. You can listen to them while you're doing the dishes, while you're exercising, do it, while you're driving, whatever. And I found that passive learning through those, so I was just kind of like listening to it but not having to read or put all my attention on it, was really helpful, and I absorbed more than I thought I did. So some of the good podcasts that I would recommend would be Biology 3020 by Doc C. I know I've mentioned that in a lot of my videos, but that's a great patho one if you just want a refresher on patho, which is gonna be one of your first classes, which is why I think it's important to kind of refresh on that one maybe a little bit. Anything by ReachMD, those are going to be up-to-date topics if you just want to kind of dive into the world of what's the best evidence-based practice that's out there right now. And American Family Physician podcast, that's another one where you can go and get guideline updates for kind of like, hey, what's the current medical trends in primary care? The American Family Physician is obviously primary care oriented, but the first two could be for whatever kind of nurse practitioner school you're going to, or really any kind of school at all, healthcare related. And I did an entire video on my favorite podcasts for nurse practitioners, so I will link that up here in case you guys want to go check it out. Really, I cannot recommend podcasts enough. Saved my life. Gonna nerd out on them a lot. You can also go, if you just want to be a prepared person, and get some books. If your school hasn't given you a reading list yet and you're like, I just kind of want to get some books to prepare, you're gonna need the APA manual. Whatever the latest edition is, you can buy it used. There's a bunch of people selling them online for used for like $5 or $6 because everyone has to have it. You're gonna write a lot of papers, so if you wanna just get ahead, don't read it, but I mean, that would be the world's most boring book. But you could at least buy it and have it to have. And then there's two books I'll show you here that you could buy that I have found really helpful in my program. They might not be on your school's assigned reading list, but I would definitely consider checking them out. The first book is Infectious Diseases, a Clinical Short Course. This is super great for antibiotics. You're gonna use it all throughout school, like pharmacology, and when you get into clinical, you're gonna use it a ton for treating your patients anytime you need to use an antibacterial, an antifungal, and antiviral. And the second book, which your school will probably make you buy, is the Current Medical Diagnosis and Treatment. Obviously, you would get the 2018 or 2019, whichever one they are coming out with now. But this is an awesome resource, and I didn't have it recommended until my third year of school, but I wish I had it my first year, because then it goes all through like what the assessment of the disease is, how to diagnose it, and then the treatment. So when you're doing your early case studies and everything, this puppy would have been a great thing to have. So if you're looking for two books to kind of buy and get ahead on, obviously don't go read this unless you're a crazy person. But if you want to just kind of get ahead and have something, that's a great one. Also, I bring this with me to clinical. This is like my one thing that I bring. This, sometimes I would bring my infectious disease one, but usually this, and then my phone with all my apps on it. And my final tip for preparing educationally, I don't think that's a word, but whatever, would be to, while you're at work, go and listen to the residents, the attending, whoever it is that are doing the intake assessments, and anytime they go in and like talk to the patient, assess them, because assessment is going to be one of your first classes, and you can learn a lot about obtaining patient information by listening to other people do patient interviews. So hey, when they go in, how do they kind of elicit the information from the patient? What are their follow-up questions? See if you can kind of get behind like, why are they asking that? What are they trying to, obviously in their mind, rule out through their questions? How does their patient flow go? Learn from them. Do you like how they're doing their patient interview? Do you not like it? That is something I wish I had started doing earlier, because it was so helpful for me when I started creeping in the room and just like standing there. And as a nurse, you're totally allowed to. No one's gonna question you if you go in and stand there. You're just gonna look like you're you know, super duper on top of it and interested in your patient's care, which I mean, you should be doing anyway. But if you have time, totally go in and listen to the providers interviewing the patients to elicit information about what's going on. And finally, tips on organization. Okay, so if you live with someone, you're gonna need to have a sit down today, go do it now, and divvy out the chores. So with my husband, I kind of said, like, you're gonna have to pick up some of these extra things because I'm just not gonna have time. So, you know, we kind of really put a line down the middle. I'll keep doing all the dishes, you do all the laundry. I will clean X, Y, and Z, you'll clean this, this, and this. And that relieved a lot of the, you know, kind of the war of seeing who's gonna do it first. We each knew what our responsibilities were. Now, before this, like before NP school, it was much more fluid, like whoever had time kind of got around to it. And with this, it was really good to have like set, this is yours, this is mine, and if I need help with my tasks, I will ask you, if that makes sense. And if you live alone, kind of just write down everything you need to do and try tackling like one thing a day, you know, just so it doesn't all pile up on you. Side note, ask for one of those little the Eufy vacuums that I've shown in some of my other videos. I'll link it down below in the description. Ask for one for your birthday. It'll be the best birthday present you ever got. They go on sale a lot. Wait till they go on sale. They knock like 50 or 100 bucks off. I think ours was 200, and it was the best $200 we ever spent. It can vacuum for us, and that just alleviates so much like of chores, especially if you have a dog. Holy cow, because then you have to vacuum all the time, and that thing will just vacuum your house for you. So I highly suggest, if you can, for your birthday, ask for a super exciting robot vacuum. You won't be sad. Number 2 in our organization, meal prep. You can start doing this now. So start finding recipes. There's a ton of different blogs on it where you can like meal prep and freeze food. Because let me tell you, the last thing you want to do after studying all day, going to school, going to clinical, is come home and make an entire meal for you or your family. We ate out way more than we should have. We had literally lived on chicken nuggets and tortilla chips and salsa for a good year. Just do yourself a favor, kind of nail down the recipes that you like, freeze them, which you can start doing this summer, and voila, you have food during the year, and you aren't going to turn into an orange Martian like I should have because I ate all chicken nuggets. Organization tip number 3, go find yourself a planner and make it a good planner. So I actually have a bullet journal that looks a lot like, well, this, and I put everything in it, but it doesn't matter what kind of journal works for you, just some kind of a planner. Emily Condren has those super pretty great ones that are beautiful. A regular planner, if you go to Target and buy the one for like $12 off the rack, use those for years, worked great. But you're just gonna need something where you can list all of your tasks out, be able to plan way ahead in order to plan your life and school so you don't forget assignments. Grad school is kind of chaos, and they sort of tell you everything in the beginning, and then it layers on top of each other. It's like nursing school, but on steroids. So you just need to organize your life, because now you're usually working. A lot of people have a family, so you're just gonna need a really good planner system. Start playing around with it now. I can do a video if you want on my bullet journal and how I kind of it was very tailored to NP school, and how I like clinical hours, homework columns, meal prepping, all of that in there. So let me know if you want to see a video on that. But just whatever you do, find a planner system that works for you, start using it so you get into that routine, and you'll thank me later. And I'll link a video up here that I did on like organizing in my bullet journal for clinical. But like I said, if you want to see a different one just kind of on like my life in general, how I organize my bullet journal, let me know and I will do a video on that. 4th, you can go and buy some school supplies. I know I'm a nerd, and as soon as like I find out I register for a class, I'm like, ooh, I get to go buy new school supplies. Pens, love pens. Go buy some notebooks. Get a notebook for each class, get a ton of tab dividers and some sticky notes. That way you can, I like to organize everything by like heading, like respiratory, GI, all of that, and then like sticky notes in between for more detailed flipping through. That way, when you want to reference back, you can find the exact spot that you need to go to. All right, I think those are all of my tips for how I wish I had prepared for NP school rather than going in totally blind. These are things that have been super helpful to me over the years after I did start implementing them, and I hope they are helpful for you. If this video was helpful for you, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That way I know I'm on the right track. And if you liked it, subscribe down below so that you can see more videos like it. Also, if you want to see more of my life adventures or tidbits, Make sure to go on and check out my Instagram. On there I put all sorts of daily adventures and cute pictures of my baby and some nursing tidbits too. Okay, so the question of the day that I want to hear back from you guys, what are you most excited or nervous about for NP school? Let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you guys later on this week. Have a good one. Bye.